this not flowing as well as the last one?
Yeah, it's not at all.
No, it's not.
Why is that?
You'll be able to cut it.
I think I'm partially responsible in that I don't think I've taken enough notes.
What, on the story point?
Yeah, annoyingly, I had to watch it on my laptop, so I'm flicking to and from, and I've accidentally got into the flow of the movie and forgot to write anything down. I've been just going, oh shit.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the second From the Vault Trilogy. This time, it's Hot Tub Time Machine that we recorded...
Hang on, are you not doing anything funny at the start?
This is the funny bit. We recorded it 14 months ago. That's hilarious. It took us 14 months to release this, and it's not even... It's not worth 14 months worth of waiting for.
No, it definitely fucking isn't.
It's a welcome to the second episode from me. It's a welcome to the second episode from Chandler.
Hello.
And it's a... Oh, wait, no. James is still not here. He's still somewhere in Cambodia feeding monkeys or feeding fishes. We don't know what he's doing.
I mean, he's definitely not in Cambodia.
Is he not?
No, he's in Vietnam.
He might have been transported over the border. We do not know.
Well, talking of that, there is a little message again from James from across the world. And here it is.
Hi, Three Takes fans. I'm currently in Ho Chi Minh City, or Saigon. Seems to still be referred to as both nowadays. You've got to have your head on a swivel like Luka Modric to get across the roads here. There's so many mopeds. You just walk, and they kind of just part for you. It's not too bad. You just got to be confident and don't stop. Went to the war tunnels today and climbed down a very small tunnel. If you know me, you know I'm very tall. I'm 6'4". It's quite tough to fit in them, but I did it. It's quite claustrophobic, but really interesting. Did the War Museum as well. I also shot an AK-47. That was kind of weird. Anyway, Wild Hogs has been and gone, and now Hot Tub Time Machine. Really love that film. The record was, we're still working things out, as we said last time. This one was, if I remember rightly, notoriously bad. But I hope you'll persist with it anyway. As I say, we were still working things out, but Hot Tub Time Machine is a classic. A film I think all of us had seen, at least me and Chandler for sure. Great fun, great cast. I hope you enjoy it.
That was James and his love for fishes.
The weird thing from that message is he said he shot an AK-47.
Not at the fishes, though.
But yeah, James, as James said in his message, and as Alex alluded to in his intro, this isn't like what you're about to hear is, yes, we were still, as James says, still working out the kinks of our recording process. The content, I don't think it's quite as good as the Wild Hogs content, which I think is why.
I think it is. I think it has moments.
Yeah, but it didn't flow when we were recording it. It did not flow as well.
No, it didn't. No.
And while I was editing, peek behind the curtain, while I was editing, it was so frustrating. It was so hard to get any like coherent podcast out of our what was a 3.5 hour record. Apparently,
it was. We didn't even go to the pub afterwards from memory.
No, because we got as we said at the end of the last episode, we recorded this in our previous works like boardroom, and the plan was to go to the pub afterwards. But we were there for so long, we didn't have enough time.
We were set dressing. That's what we were doing.
But I remember this, as he said, Alex. Yeah, 14 months ago. It's definitely not worth the wait for 14 months. But I enjoyed listening back to it, like editing it. But
I enjoyed going back through it. I enjoyed our love for Craig Robinson. I enjoyed our tearing down of the film, which we don't really do anymore. We found a new path. So it's nice to see where we came from and what we were doing then, because this was quite a successful way of doing it, but it's not the way I think we'll do it in future.
No, I'll be honest. I do agree with you. I did enjoy listening back to us quote the film a lot more, and also tearing down the film logic of it all.
Chandler's terrible American accent comes out 4 or 5 times. James attempts it at one point. That doesn't go very well either.
But anyway, it's a good listen. As you say, there's one more from the Vault Trilogy that will come next week. But yeah, I hope you guys have fun listening to our take on our 3 Takes of Stupidity on Hot Tub Time Machine from 14 months ago.
Oh yeah, we also call it the Pratfalling Podcast again.
because we still hadn't we still hadn't come up with our actual like final format or name, which is hilarious because there's a bit at the end where we say follow us at the Pratfalling Pod on Instagram, which none of us had created it at the time.
Do not follow us on that. Do not follow anyone.
No. But yeah, follow us at the Three Takes of Stupidity on Instagram and TikTok, and enjoy our takes on Hot Tub Time Machine.
Enjoy.
Pratfalling Podcast Episode 2, Take 8.
The boys are back in town. The team is hot, ready to tub, just in time, and will work like a machine. Here's Chandler, a man known at the local gym as El Moscalitos.
Hello.
And here's James, a man with several worm farms.
It's a terrarium, and I'm your producer, thank you.
Let's bathe.
Let's bathe.
And we're away.
Alex, what have you been doing this week that wasn't coming up with that intro?
That wasn't coming up with this intro.
Yes.
Oh, that left me about 5 minutes spare.
What have you been watching while bathing?
While bathing, gosh. I watched Full Swing on Netflix. The golf thing.
Documentary.
Yeah, I've recently got into golf. It's really relaxing. Like to watch. Obviously, to play, it's not relaxing.
So, is it a good documentary that relaxes you, or does it?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I learned so much about golf.
Can you tell us one thing?
Yeah, you got to hit the ball into the hole.
Well done.
Can you watch like a good golf tournament and then go watch like a random European tour event, and you'll just see the disparity between different golf tournaments? Because trust me, it can be bad.
Oh, really? I watched one in like Dubai. That looked lovely because obviously grass grows in the desert.
Imagine if you were watching darts and just every dart was slightly off to
I don't
the left.
think you should try and take on darts when we've got Luke Little as number one fan.
I'm not, but I'm also not putting down darts. I'm just saying,
Good.
Imagine if you were watching darts, this is like the low-level golf tournaments, and every dart they were aiming for 20, but every time it was just slightly to the left.
So it's a bit like
all the time.
So it's a bit like me and you playing darts in the pub.
It's like everyone playing darts in the pub.
That's really kind to us playing darts in the pub. But yeah, what's the? Is it kind of a bit dramatized? Dramatized.
It's a little bit, yeah, but it has to be because
Yeah.
obviously, if it was just like I turned up today, I hit a ball into a hole, and then went home, it went really well.
I mean,
Wouldn't be
golf
very
is
good TV.
boring.
It's not. It is boring if you watch like one person, but there's loads going on. There's loads of balls going into loads of holes.
Golf is
Shit.
fun. It's interesting. It's interesting. Like watching it. How do they do this? Because mental. It's absolutely crazy. Some of the stuff they can do.
It's definitely one of the sports that it looks so much easier than it actually is.
Oh, but it is.
Like I'm awful at
incredible.
golf. Like I probably think golf is rubbish because I'm terrible at it.
I went to the driving
Golf
range
is
once and I couldn't
fantastic.
believe that how much my hip, back, and a single leg hurt the next day. I was like, all I've done is swing something.
What were you doing with your other leg?
Standard leg.
That had nothing to
Someone
do
could
with
probably
it.
tell me my form was like all wrong because I hurt myself.
Someone came over and told you this.
No, I mean someone could
All right.
tell me from this description.
But talking about that, have you seen the British golfer, British female golfer? She was at the driving range. Like she does a TikTok thing. She's a TikToker as well and explains how to like change a swing and all this stuff. And then another guy, she's a professional female golfer, and another guy who's not a professional golfer comes over and goes, "Yeah, you shouldn't do it like that." Proper mansplaining video. It's
But
brilliant.
I have seen some people say that he does correct her. She is doing it wrong.
But
she's not.
she's changing her form.
I don't know enough.
She's changing her swing, and she says that 5 times.
Yeah. The guy
So
just
I
not.
am
The guy
currently
is just
practicing
not
a new swing.
accepting it.
I haven't actually watched the full video. You've just
offended the misogynistic
Yeah, but I've
mansplainer, so
seen-
you're really going to love the film
I've
we're
seen
talking
the
about
clip
today. On the other side of things, I've been watching a period medical drama in the last week.
Is it called This Is Going to Hurt?
No, it's called Apothecary Diaries. And it's about a young apothecary that was raised amongst like brothels with courtesans and was kidnapped and sold off to the palace, and slowly kind of ends up by accident getting promotions in the palace because she's like ends up being a bit like a detective using apothecary skills. It's got political drama and it's got mystery, twists, turns. It's absolutely excellent.
I have so many questions.
Yeah,
What does an apothecary do?
Apothecary is like a
Pharmacist.
pharmacist, but like it's like herbal remedies and medicines and stuff. Like before, you could turn everything into a powder or into a pill. And yeah, they're essentially kind of like doctors.
So she's essentially just handing out soothers, and then in her spare time,
Soothers.
she's solving crimes.
She's solving crimes, yeah, with her apothecary knowledge of chemicals, herbs, reactions, and stuff.
They've been killed with lemon and honey.
But it's just an example of like general intelligence that helps her solve other issues that may not be just like to do with medicine. However, like everything kind of slowly comes together, like little innocuous. You think it's kind of like an episode of the week kind of thing with like, oh, this is the problem of the week, but then things come together really well into a bit more of a scheme.
Oh, okay.
And it's really good. And I realise you guys are way more respectful when I describe an anime as what it is instead of an anime.
Oh my God, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is this James's way of getting anime into the podcast?
Is that what it was? I did not know I was being hoodwinked into anime.
So this is the thing, like people
Again,
have,
James, can you please stop trying to make anime a thing?
it's already a very
thing.
very
Hello to our
popular
listeners
thing
in Japan.
It's hello to our listeners around the world. Akira Toriyama died, rest in peace, and there was a national mourning in like Ecuador.
Yeah,
for
fair
him.
enough. Also, I hate how both of you missed my Mean Girls reference, but okay.
I'm not saying that Ecuador hasn't got a lot going on, but if they're mourning this guy, I feel like Ecuador needs to improve.
No, Alex, you can't say that.
The Chinese government, like in Parliament, sent their respects to Japan and like rest in peace to Akira Toriyama. Anime is huge.
Yeah,
you guys need to hop on the train because
I
it's leaving
agree.
you behind.
No, I completely agree.
And I think
However,
Apothecary
again, this is not the
Diaries-
podcast for it.
Apothecary.
Is this going to be our continuing segment on the podcast of James's anime bite of the week?
I think that you like describing it to you as a show and a genre that happens to be animated, just like you would watch a Pixar film about a subject or anything, or a Disney movie. It makes it more palatable. I bet you watch loads of animated stuff, but you have preconceptions on what an anime is. Whereas that's why I was like, oh, let me describe it as what this genre is.
Yeah, to be honest,
outside of it being animated.
I thought it would be on the BBC until I found out it was anime.
It's also
there's no way the BBC
it's
is
also
putting
very
anime
funny.
out.
It's also very funny. But it's really good. I'm really impressed.
Continuing segment, James's anime recommendation of the week.
Oh, James's anime
That means I have to
recommendation of
keep
the
up
week.
watching them because I don't watch them all the time. It's more work. But yeah, very different to what we're going to talk about today.
Very
but
different.
Charno, have you seen anything interesting in the last
Yeah.
week?
I've seen something interesting. It was recommended to me by my sister. Kind of leads us on to this as well because it's written by a few of the same people on Netflix called Obliterated, which is like a fist pumping, like reminiscent of the 80s cliche of Black Ops America. Like let's go save the world from nukes. It's really funny and really cheesy. It's terrible, but it's a brilliant watch. Obliterated.
Save them from commies by any chance?
Yeah, basically, save them from commies. It is a terrible, brilliant watch, to be honest. The funny thing is, the writers on it also created Cobra Kai, which again is a brilliant 80s nostalgia bit of television. But also, as I say, linking back to this film, wrote on this film as well.
Which we should probably announce this film. Hot Tub Time Machine.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
If you didn't get it from Alex's intro.
Hot Tub Time Machine #1.
I didn't get it from his intro. So,
other than the fact that you've watched this film for your research, I hope.
I watched it for my research, and
That's
I've
good.
actually seen this film before. The first
that's
film
good.
from our draft pilot, which you will never hear, and our first episode. It's the first film I've actually watched before.
Right, 1 in
it's
2.
1 in 3.
1 in
kind of.
3, fine.
Got a 50% win record.
So yeah, Hot Tub Time Machine. A malfunctioning time machine at a ski resort takes a man back to 1986 with his 2 friends and nephew, where they must relive a fateful night and not change anything to make sure the nephew is born. So before we talk about it, it's been reviewed, obviously on IMDb. It has 6.4 out of 10. Strangely, for a comedy, I think this is quite the rare instance where the tomato meter is actually above the audience score. 64% tomato meter and a 56% audience score. What do you think to that, Alex?
Tough move for the audience there. Can't believe it's this highly rated by critics.
Yeah, I know. It's weird, that, isn't it? I think what this film has is that its cast elevates the premise and also the film itself.
Yeah, I mean, John Cusack. I feel like John Cusack always goes down well with critics.
He does have some. He has some really good early films that I think has elevated his career.
He's like a Valium Nick Cage.
Valiant, what? Just a low level.
Yeah, like someone just turned him down.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what critics are after.
It does feel like, given last week's Wild Hogs was rated 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, it does feel substantially better than that movie as at 64%
Like this film
from Rotten Tomatoes and Hot Tub Time Machine.
This film, for me, like my personal history with this film is I remember seeing it near enough when it came out in 2010 and absolutely loving it. Me and my brother have watched this film to end and quote this film to each other a lot.
You quote a film?
You caught it?
Yeah, I know.
This film?
You quote another film?
I quote loads of films, James.
I can't believe it. It's news to me. It's almost like you should do a film podcast.
Yeah, brilliant. But yeah, the cast is so good. Like John Cusack, Rob Corddry, Craig Robinson, and Clark Duke. I think all four of them play their parts really well.
I mean, there's like 5. There's definitely at least 5. We're not going to mention that Chevy Chase is just an absolute boss man.
No, Chevy Chase
He's problematic.
is a bad
He's
human.
problematic.
He's a bad human.
As,
Yeah.
as a huge fan of Community, I know he's problematic.
Yeah.
But
Let's be careful giving him his props.
at this point in time, in 2010, if we sit with that, him, very much like Kevin Spacey, are fantastic at this time.
Maybe not to some. In the public eye, they're fantastic. So yeah, we should definitely, preface this when we talk about the cast. That Chevy Chase since has had some problematic issues come out into the public eye from his time on Community, and yeah. But that aside, we will talk about his performance in this movie.
There's also, I don't know whether we want to come on to this now, but when I saw George McFly.
McFly. You can't just say George McFly. You've got to say his actual name, Alex.
Crispin Glover. I got so excited. And then he was missing an arm. I was like, oh my God, he's actually got a proper character to play.
What? Just an arsehole. For that first 5 minute scene, we're just throwing the bags. I think we're getting ahead of ourselves.
I was also
on the plot
shocked
there.
at Sebastian Stan is in this movie.
Yeah.
He is technically playing the Winter Soldier before he played the Winter Soldier.
But the funny thing is about that is that this film isn't that long before Captain America: The Winter Soldier. It would have only been like 2 or 3 years,
That's
if
true.
I remember rightly.
That's true.
So he's been in other things before this as well.
This was actually the film he used when he auditioned. He actually sent in that he was a Winter Soldier on a ski resort in Hot Tub Time Machine. That's what got him the role.
He was like,
interesting.
look, I've already been in the winter. I'm lacking soldier, I'll admit.
I was a guard.
But he did. But his character Blaine is a wannabe soldier. He is like,
Oh, yeah.
I want to defend the country.
He wants to stop the commies.
Exactly.
Oh my God, yes.
But then they made him a commie in Captain
the
America:
Winter
Winter Soldier.
Maybe that was it. They were like,
And
we
then they
love
make
your
him
referencing
fight
commies.
Once again, I stand with my socialist brothers and sisters.
That's when we'll play the Soviet national anthem.
But this does, and it also has like a great supporting cast as well. Like Lizzie Kaplan is great in it. Charlie McDermott from The Middle, and a great cameo, which we'll get onto, which again links us back to the fact that these guys created Cobra Kai. Is Billy Zapka's in it as well as a cameo?
Yes.
You don't know who Billy Zapka is? Like, you've seen Karate Kid, no? James, have you seen Karate Kid?
With
the original. Do not say
incredible performance from Jaden Smith.
that took you a while to get the name
It
of.
did. I had Will Smith's son in my head
original.
first.
Who?
Will Smith's son.
Brilliant. No, the original. Have you not seen the 1980s original Karate Kid?
I think I might have, but
You've not seen Cobra
I was
Kai? Your
very
face
young.
lit up when I say Cobra Kai.
No, because it's in my notes.
Basically, Billy Zapka plays Johnny Lawrence in The Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. Like, he's the main star of Cobra Kai.
Oh, okay.
And it's brilliant. So, yeah. Do you know, okay, you don't even know, even though I've said his cameo, you don't actually know which character he's playing in, do
No.
you? So, you know, we'll come on to it when it happens, because that's just giving away a bit of the film.
one thing I liked about this film, and again, it's in stark contrast to last week's Wild Hogs, is that, and I assume it's contributed to the higher ratings, it's always moving. And it did it. My biggest complaint with Wild Hogs, it took 45 minutes to get into the nitty gritty of the movie. Whereas in this one, you knew everything about the characters in short, succinct scenes so they can actually get into it and be around each other. In Wild Hogs, you spent loads of time with characters you don't see for the entire movie, like wife, children, etc., where you could have just had 5 minutes with them at
Here's
the start.
James' hatred on wife and children.
I agree with you, because instantly the first time you see Craig Robinson's character, Nick, the first words he says is, "This isn't about losing weight, it's about a lifestyle change," to a dog. The first time you see John Cusack, his life is falling apart. His life is always falling apart. First time you see Clark Duke, who I think Jack Black must have turned down this movie for him to get this role.
Bit of an age difference.
There's a bit of an age difference there.
There's a slight age difference. Yeah, but he's like Jack Black and Michael Cera combined.
Yeah, that's fair. I was going to say, personality-wise, it's not the same at all.
He looks like Jack Black, but he has the personality of Michael Cera.
Yeah, if he had a baby, that would be Clark Duke for sure.
Yeah, but the first time you see him, he's like sat in a sweaty basement. Instantly, you're in with him.
Playing Second Life, which is in jail. And I'm just going to return a little segment of mine from last week. The chuckle chart.
Oh, the chuckle chart.
Far larger.
Is
than
it?
Wild Hogs.
Oh, really?
I was typing in it non-stop. I was chuckling all over the place.
This is a chuckle book.
And Second Life in prison.
Did you like that?
Brilliant. Loved it.
I'm sorry.
Second Life.
I'm
It's
sorry.
not-
1 minute. I've got a court date coming up. It's really important.
It's not The Sims. It's Second Life. And also, I've been rewatching The US Office, as everyone always does. And I think Dwight has an episode where he's in Second Life as well. And it just made me think back to The Office. I was like, excellent reference. Before that, Chuckle Chart got a different comment. And again, it was from Clark Duke's Jacob is taxidermist is stuffing my mother.
That is. I'm not gonna lie. That is the first. That is my first favorite joke I wrote down. That is such a good line. Such a good line. It was so well delivered, like really deadpan, and then just like, I've got to get back to my second life now. It is so well delivered.
Amazing.
Prime Michael Cera.
Prime Michael Cera.
The first time you see Rob Corddry's character, when he drives into his garage, not even like the suicide bit, which we'll come on to later, he can't drum for shit. He can't air drum for shit. Like the song that's on, he is not for. It's just arms flailing.
I didn't pick up for that.
It annoyed me so much because everyone like.
Oh, what?
Everyone,
You
like,
are a professional
taps,
drummer?
No. But everyone like taps along in the car, and he's just not. Which it just makes me think that song is not on.
But is
this scene is happening.
But I think he's mixing up the instruments. If I remember rightly, isn't he? Like drumming away to the like how the guitar is playing, isn't he?
Everyone, no one air drums to the drums unless you're a drummer. Everyone air drums to a melody.
Yeah.
No matter what you do as a non-musician, you do everything to the melody. So was it to the melody or was it just absolutely just flailing?
I just remember it annoyed me. It annoyed me so much.
Our resident professional drummer, Alex.
But I mean, he might be spot on, but he's also drunk in the scene, so maybe that combines like
also trying to commit suicide. We're led to assume that he is trying to commit suicide in that scene. It feels like he's trying to pump himself up a little bit.
But even when he's about to die, don't you want the last thing you did to at least be in rhythm?
Yeah, but to be fair, the
It's
last
not
thing
a
he's
mess.
last thing he's doing is not going to be seen by anyone. He just wants to have a good time.
Exactly. So he's let himself down. The next time we see any sort of mention to his character is when they're all getting the call in the hospital when he's lying in the bed. But there's a fantastic bit in it where they're just berating him at the door.
There is I've noted down a great line. Like, but just before that, where he comes like, "Oh, you'll be looked after by his friends. You are his friends, aren't you? You know that guy who's like an asshole. He's our asshole." I love that line. Everyone has an asshole friend that they're just like, "Yeah, he's our asshole. It's fine. We love him."
Work on that American accent, Chandler.
Especially for more acting auditions. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks.
For your next, like, specifically American commercial. It was so cliche and a classic, but it was so funny. And everyone has that mate that is just the arsehole in their group. I think most of my friendship groups, everyone is the arsehole, to be honest, at some point in time.
You need to re-establish your friend groups then.
I know who the arsehole is here.
Alex.
I knew it was going to be. I don't want to say it, but I knew it was going to be me.
No, but that does lead us on. Like, and another one of my favorite lines, which probably shouldn't be a lot of famous lines, where he goes, and they're asking him like, "Are you okay?" Like, he's lying in the bed, and he's like, "No, he's lying in the bed," and they're like, "Come on, you tried to kill yourself," and he won't admit to it. And he goes, if I was trying to kill myself, I'd be the best at it. A shotgun to the dick." My line was, "Would you actually die from that?"
No, you just become a eunuch.
Unless you just become a eunuch. Like, or it depends how, I guess, like how long you left it before you were seen. Like, you would just bleed out at one point, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but then you're going to have a lot of time to be like, this really, really hurts, and I wish I hadn't done this, and maybe life isn't as bad as just having dick pain.
It's also like, it may lead you to do, like, to as you say, sadness, to wanting to end it all, but it's all about the angle of shot. So
What, you doing it from top down?
I'm standing up.
if you're angling down, you're probably fine unless you hit that artery like where House got the limp and he nearly died.
If James's voice is sounding weird to everyone right now, it's because he's actually stood up trying to explain this stuff to
However,
us.
if you're shooting up somehow you've got the reach and you've got the trigger with maybe your thumb at home, please try to shoot yourself in the dick imaginarily.
Please don't try.
If you shoot up, everything's gone. And then, you could kill yourself by shooting yourself in the dick.
It's a horrendous way to go.
Yes, if you're shooting up, definitely. It's a lot of shrapnel.
He is literally shooting up.
Didn't he specified a shotgun?
Yeah,
So-
He did specify shotgun.
Pump action. If you're shooting yourself in the dick,
You want a good gun.
it's all pump action.
It's awful action. But speaking of dicks, he then pulls out. I've never had a catheter, but he pulls it out. He pulls out a catheter like it's pulling string out of a conker.
I couldn't believe how long it was. Are they that,
And then
always
everyone
that
just
long?
gets sprayed with piss.
He just pulls it out like fucking rope.
I went through a bit of a period of self-realization in this film, which is not a good thing. And I think I like dick jokes too much.
I thought you were going to say.
I thought I was a bit more
want a catheter.
sophisticated than that. But I found myself almost writing down every dick joke in the chuckle chart. And there's a lot of dick
There
jokes
is a
in
lot
this
of dick
film.
jokes.
And I think I need to check myself and watch some high-quality comedy.
Nah, lowbrow comedy is what you need sometimes. For an hour and 40 minutes, it's great.
I pride myself in not finding fart jokes funny unless really perfect.
But dick jokes, that's your sweet spot, is it, James?
Any penis-based humour.
Yeah, I've been walking around just going, nice cock. I can't even remember what that's from.
Just at the church.
Nice cock.
While we're on dick jokes, there is a great one where I can't say it now because it comes up, but I'll mention it later on.
Don't worry, we'll make sure
We'll
to bring
get
up as
onto
many
dick
dick jokes as possible.
We have to.
And then and then they're like, right, we need to cheer our friend up. Let's take him skiing. Which I don't know if you two ever been skiing. Unless you're very good at it, I would say does not cheer people up.
I have so many questions
I've
about
never
skiing. I've never been skiing. I've got the balance of something with terrible balance.
I've been skiing once, and I went for a week with friends who have all skied before, and I was the only one who'd never been. I got a call like a week before going, "Do you want to come skiing?" Someone's dropped out, and I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, why not?" Seriously, the first day I tried it was the worst mistake. I was sat at the bottom of the mountain with having a drink with my mates, and I called my girlfriend and I went, I've made a terrible mistake coming out here.
Do you like have to give yourself to it? Like, is it like you're at the top of the mountain and you just got to ski down it? You can't be like half-assed where you're putting like your skis and be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Do you have to just like fucking go?
Yeah, and if you don't know what you're doing, you will crash and burn multiple times. And I was so scared of like really hurting myself the whole week. By the end, like after like 4 days of like more lessons, like I was okay-ish.
So,
but it was awful. It wasn't. I'm lying. It wasn't awful. It was a good week, but unless you are like a very good skier with a lot of experience, if someone wants to cheer me up, do not take me skiing.
they've arrived at the chateau.
Wait, before we go to they've arrived to the chalet. One of my favourite jokes is when they're sat in the car, and Jacob is texting the other two going, "Doesn't Lou look like Fat Stewie from Family Guy?" And I was like, that is good. Top quality joke there.
I loved when they were getting ready to go as well, where Jacob's in the car and Lou appears. He's like, Jacob, you ruined my weekend.
That's a really good.
Jacob
Why does
so
he
much.
fucking hate him so? It's also mentioned that he tried to buy him when he was 12.
Yeah,
and for some reason he hates
But
it.
I
What was
think-
going to buy him for?
But I think all of that is like set up, isn't it? Like when you we'll come onto it, but all of that is like set up.
But yeah, I
To be fair.
very quickly had put down in my my notes the twist, and I don't know if that was like subconscious memory or just like, yeah, that's clear, because we very quickly know, as I mentioned, he doesn't have a dad. He's living with his uncle, and his mum's getting stuffed by a taxidermist.
No, but the other thing as well, so in that car there's a lot of setup because like John Cusack's character goes on to talk about the girlfriend he had back when they were there, Jenny,
Played by Lindsay Fonseca.
thank you very much, James, and it's like how she was his first love, and they very weird phrasing of we swapped virginities, which I wrote down and I was like, that's not how regular people say that.
No.
That was a very creepy way of saying it to me.
The Great White Buffalo.
The Great White Buffalo, which is a joke I never understood until I came to my research for this joke. This podcast.
What is it?
Like the Great, because they keep going, The Great White Buffalo.
Yeah.
The Great White Buffalo.
The Great White Buffalo.
So The Great White Buffalo is a song. I can't remember who it's by now.
Do you know?
Ted Nugent.
If you hear the Great White Buffalo and know what it is about, does your Great White Buffalo pop into your head? Do you know who your Great White Buffalo is?
I think so. I don't really know what they're.
No, so Great White Buffalo is basically just a slang term for first love.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not gonna lie, I didn't go that far into my research and listen to the song, but I am assuming that's what it's about.
Yeah, got to know your Great White Buffalo.
Great
Yeah,
White
yeah.
Great White
Now
Buffalo.
that you know it, everyone has one.
Great White Buffalo.
Thanks for that, guys. That really clears that up.
And that line kind of, it's an age thing, but we learn that we already knew Jacob's inept with women, and him not having a Great White Buffalo is also
I didn't pick up on that.
basically telling you that, yeah, he has no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a first love. Maybe in second life. But he's in prison.
Yeah, you can have love in prison.
Visitation days.
Conjugal visits.
Fellow prisoners.
Oh yeah, obviously it's second life visitation days. I don't know how accurate it gets in that, but you say in prison. This is another film with a lot of gay jokes.
There's straight up homophobia.
Yeah, straight up homophobia.
Two instances of a slur being used in this movie where I was like, this is 2010. I know they went back to 1986, but it feels like an excuse.
So now we come on to that, like we get them to the chalet where, again, if they are friends, the first joke in the chalet is that Nick has hyphenated his last name to Weber Agnew. Surely if they're friends, they have been at that wedding and they've also realised that they have hyphenated his name.
Yeah, the exposition in this film is terrible. there's not even like he should have been on his phone to his wife, and they have a conversation. He's like, "I love you too, Mrs. Whatever it is, something Weber," and they should have been like, "Oh, it still sucks that you've got that as your last name." That would have been the nice way into it.
What, instead of just the reservation is do you have
Yeah, even that would have been like if someone had come over and gone, "Your name sucks." That would have been better than like going, "Oh my god, is that your name?"
Yeah.
Like fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. They surely would have known.
Yeah.
The like realization of what the like late 2000s and early 2010s were like with some humor and jokes like this, like a double barrel name was shocking almost
For a
and
man,
a joke
at least.
for a man, and chucking in a little sprinkle of misogyny there. It's like you wouldn't bat your eyelid at a double barrel name now, whether that's because of divorced families or marriage where more and more people are taking two names. And the friend of a friend knows a couple that actually just chose a different surname.
Oh, that's cool.
That's horrendous.
I said that's
horrible.
Why is that horrible?
I am massive on family trees, and if you're just going to start changing your name for no reason other than just banter, that's horrendous.
Why are you massive on family trees?
I just love family trees. They're like my favourite thing.
I also
I'm obsessed with mine.
Why?
They are
'Cause
interesting.
They're really interesting.
I've on my like mum's side somewhere back in there's a random Italian Donny looking geezer in a picture, and he looks like he runs a mafia, and then there's just British looking people around him, and he's just in the middle like, yes,
He's trying to run the mafia, and everyone's going, "Would you like some cheddar cheese?"
yeah, like a farm in Hertford or something.
I did not have family trees coming up on my podcast bingo today, if I'm honest with you.
But the film sprinkles in a bit of homophobia and a bit of misogyny early on. And don't worry, you get the three-peat with a bit of mild racism later on. And that was apparently 2010. I was 15 at the time.
What was a mild racism?
Later in the film. So black. It's the blackest thing I've ever seen.
I love that line.
So black.
Anyway.
You mentioned that Lou brings up his name issue, and all I've wrote down is, why is Lou like this? He's annoyed me at every point I've seen him so far. Every time
But
I've
that's
seen
the
it,
point of his character,
I know
is
that's
it
the
not?
point of his character, but every time I see him, I'm like, oh, please stop being like this.
He painfully reminds me of my uncle I don't talk to. I'm sure you can imagine why.
So yeah, and then they get taken up to their room with by Crispin Glover makes an appearance.
George McFly.
George McFly.
Again, McFly.
And then he's just the angriest bellhop in the world.
He has no reason to be this angry.
He's missing. He's missing an arm.
They did not take his
His
arm.
business is
That is
falling
true.
apart.
That
They
is
did
actually
not
true.
take his arm. He just doesn't have
He's
an
been
arm.
a bellhop for, at that point, 24 years.
Go get another job. One, preferably, we don't have to use your left arm.
Right
arm.
Yeah. He has lost an arm, and he's a bellhop. His whole job is carrying things.
I do
He
love
has
that.
a lot to be angry
He's
about.
got a trolley.
Yeah, and then he starts.
He's got a
he also-
trolley.
He has a trolley.
he is very strong though, and Chuckle Chart. I don't know why I found launching the bag so funny.
My laugh in this scene came when Lou just goes, he can't start with a round of applause. That's so bad. So bad.
We've got
I know.
four.
We've got ableism. I'm surprised you haven't written ableism yet. And then he just stands at the door waiting for a tip.
That's my favourite bit, when he just stands there and he's like, so, that's just American culture though, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah. Yeah.
You could shit on someone's floor and be like,
He used to live off tip money at a failing business where there's nothing running in the town. I'm not surprised he is livid with life. This
That's
film
a fair
should be
point.
about
To be fair, James, it's a fair point.
his life is worse than Lou's.
Also, once the bags have been dropped off in the room, Lou starts threatening to kill himself. Only 15 minutes ago in movie time, what we seeing him actually try, he's just like, I'm just going to do it again.
No.
Minor inconvenience.
Again, them sat playing drinking games, playing quarters on the table, and he just goes, I need a hooker to come fuck me and my friends. I love that whole scene when he's on the phone, and he just goes, we should do 4 at a time. Sorry, Jacob, you're out.
If he kills himself, can we go home?
That's a great line.
Which is that's the whole point of the film. This is where things get slightly obvious for the twist later. But like Rob and Lou just hate each other, and it is a brilliant like dynamic between the two. Just bullying Jacob the whole time, but Jacob doesn't take it. He's like, yeah, he may be some little nerdy guy, but he's well involved with the laddie stupid jokes and just telling him to fuck off. It's not just his mates that don't like him. It's Jacob that doesn't like him as well. But now they're in the room. It's again, everything's moving in this film. So I like everything's rolling. We're going down a hill. We're picking up steam. The snowball is growing. The hot tub. All the light. It doesn't work. And all of a sudden they're inside. They're playing the drinking games. And then light shines down. A message from God. Chevy Chase.
Or the devil.
We don't see him or the devil. We don't meet Chevy Chase at this point, but they get into the hot tub.
Wild Hogs is referenced.
Yeah, I love that line, and it also takes back to the first episode of. It's like, why are you guys getting naked? It's called male bonding. Haven't you ever seen Wild Hogs? When that came on, I had to pause the film, laugh, and then like go yes.
This film is just Wild Hogs, but the bikes are a hot tub time machine.
It's a hot tub time machine.
And again, like, you don't stick with the hot tub for ages because there's only so much scenery you're going to get in the hot tub.
I really enjoyed the montage of them drinking in the hot tub.
Yeah, same.
I was like, it's a really good way to like elevate us like into the next morning of like, this is how much fun they've had, the 4 of them just getting pissed in a hot tub, which to be fair, sounds like a great evening. My only point is, where the fuck does that bear come from in that montage scene? If you go through them partying in the hot tub, the bear mascot that appears in random bits of the film is there as well.
Because if
like,
you,
what the fuck
if you
is he
watch
doing
the
there?
montage, there's loads of little scenes of clearly time passing. So like over their history there and the history of the hot tub is
that's
what
a
I
good
presume.
point.
Just time is almost like rewinding.
Yeah, that's a good point actually.
You see, because I can't remember what else there was. There was more than just the bear.
Chevy
There were
Chase.
Yeah, Chevy Chase is definitely in
Chevy Chase in
clips.
there. There were like just
Boobs.
other characters,
There were boobs.
titties. Yeah,
I've got tit count. Don't worry.
We have a chuckle chart the tick count.
It also looks like an A24 film. That whole segment looks like the guys that make Euphoria. I'm now in my head canon. That's where they got it from. That's what they based their entire style on, is the hot tub scene, the hot tub time machine. It's definitely not true, but I'm going to enjoy spreading this misinformation.
Misinformation. And then they wake up in the morning, which again, a really silly joke of him throwing up on that squirrel. But it's brilliantly done.
But that's
And,
scrap.
and then Rob Corddry just
That squirrel is scrap.
oh, what for my sake?
Yeah.
You think he's lasted all those thousands of years?
Yeah,
He's morphed into a squirrel.
yeah. Just a little prick.
Little prick.
But it doesn't actually do anything. It's just there.
No, he does some stuff. Does he? Yeah, he is the butterfly. The butterfly is not a butterfly unless it's a squirrel.
It is a squirrel. It is a squirrel.
It's a squirrel
But-
effect.
Anyway, just going ahead, and you actually see them going skiing. They are incredible skiers, all 3 of them. And the one thing, Jacob's brought his snowboard, but why does no one know what a snowboard is in 1986? Everyone just goes, what's that one board he's on? Like, that makes no sense.
Surely snowboarding was a thing in the 80s.
But my issue is how good they are, considering they haven't been. I don't know if you can lose snowboard. I don't know if it's like riding a bike where it's like about balance and stuff like that. Like they still got it. They're moving very quickly.
I mean, they're supposed to be like 19 again.
Yeah, it is the whole point of that is to show like
they feel young again.
Yeah, like hinting they're in their young bodies.
John Cusack literally says when they've had their crash, and he stands up and he goes, "I don't know, but I feel good. I feel great. I feel 19 again." Do you know what I mean? They all like. I think that's the point, isn't it? They're supposed to feel like they're in their younger bodies again, aren't they?
Because the film isn't telling you outright that they've time traveled. No, it's hinting at you, and that's nice. You kind of get all the information you need.
It's because when they like skiing past people, like you see the 80s fashion, like the really flary like jackets and everything.
80s ski suits are amazing.
Yeah, I know.
They look brilliant.
What I saw when I saw that was, oh my God, we're wearing that stuff now.
Yeah, good. Look like now. We should. It's brilliant.
But just carrying on for the 80s references, when they walk into the guy talking on the massive brick cell phone, them not getting any service on their phones.
I'm talking on my phone.
Exactly. And then going into the like cafe, he's like, they have no idea what's going on. Like, guy's got a tape, like a video cassette tape, and like Ronald Reagan's on the screen. Everything is brilliant. Safety dance in the background.
The best thing in that scene is walks up to the girl. What colour's Michael Jackson? Yeah. Michael Jackson is an indicator for the decade you're in. He's black.
It is a great. That is fantastic.
Minor racism in the film.
That joke is fantastic. It is really well done.
Is it racist when Craig Robinson is the man asking the question?
It is when you start talking about it on a podcast.
No, that joke is brilliant, and that's when they go, "Oh my God, something's up!" Like, it is brilliant.
This is when the movie takes off because as soon as we move past that, Chevy's here.
Yeah, Chevy Chase is brilliant for you. Yeah,
Chevy is here. Movie's going. Let's go.
It's ironic he's there straight after the minor racism.
Another Chevy's troubled moment there.
Chevy Chase is playing the Morgan Freeman God character from Bruce Almighty. He's just there, not being clear with anything, not giving any instructions. The key driver of the plot of the movie is the false god / devil of Chevy Chase.
But when they're back in the hotel room and they're like, what the fuck are we going to do? Like, we're in 1986, and they realize they're in their younger bodies, not that they've traveled as separate people, is a really good scene when they're looking at their younger selves. Jacob starts flickering and Adam just goes, boom. No, you're still real. You're still real. You're still there.
Not like I hope it's intentional, but like poor casting of the young characters, because like they don't look the same. Well,
no. Adam, John Cusack's younger one,
fine.
does look
John
like
Cusack
actually a bit like him.
Just Craig Robinson.
Yeah, what the
unfortunately
guy with the massive fro.
Awful casting. Awful casting. Rob Corddry's Lou. It's okay. He just looks like Billy from.
You talking about the younger selves or them?
Younger selves, yeah.
Oh, okay, fine. I thought you said
not their actual characters.
Oh yeah, okay, fine.
Terrible casting in comparison to.
Yeah, fine.
We've come a long way with like castings when there's younger selves of characters in movies, I think.
But yeah, they realise that it's the hot tub, and again, I think it's I don't know why, but it is my favourite line from the film. That they go, Jacob goes, "Have I got to be the arsehole that says this? We got on this thing and travel back in time." And then Craig Robinson's improvised line of this, by the way.
Oh, really?
Goes, "It's like some sort of hot tub time machine." Brilliant. I know it's slapstick. I know it's terrible, and I know it's deadpan, breaking the fourth wall, and like not the most creative line in the world, but it's brilliant. It's brilliant. The look to camera, the deadpan delivery is brilliant.
I think this whole segment is like they explain the kind of time travel really well with him flickering it out. The joke about it's Terminator, the cocaine joke. Absolutely love that. It's a cycle. But we like it's a really important part of the film is Chernobyl. What is it when something is the object of a movie? There's a name for it.
MacGuffin.
Yeah, the Chernobyl is the MacGuffin. You don't know that? The MacGuffin.
MacGuffin is like the thing they need to get to fulfill the premise of the movie.
Oh, okay.
So like the Infinity Stones are the MacGuffin of the Avengers.
And sometimes like they can make or break a film in a way, because sometimes it's like, oh, they're in an impossible situation.
In fiction, a MacGuffin is an object, device, or or event that is necessary to the plot and the motivation of the characters, but insignificant, unimportant, or irrelevant in itself. So yeah, the Chernobyl.
Oh wow! So we're actually educational now. I did not know
I
that.
feel like
I
we
imagine
should-
other people will not have known that.
I think if you start a film podcast, you should at least know what a MacGuffin is.
I do now.
Brilliant.
That's
Episode 2.
That's
You're
what we're here
perfect.
for.
You're hired. Your
That's what
CV
we're-
just got better.
Thank you, producer James. So we're still in the room, and Rob Corddry's going, "Oh, this is great. We can go back in time. We can do things differently." And things like that. And John Cusack's going, "No, I fucking hate the 80s. 80s is the decade of Reagan and AIDS." Like, they're discussing how bad the 80s is and what they...
Your free love. That's the 60s.
the 60s, yeah, exactly. But then they think about what night they had, like there in 1986, and they go, "We need to do things the same." It's when Jacob talks about the butterfly effect. We need to do the same things we did back then to keep the timeline in order. So they all decide, they all remember what they did. So John Cusack's character remembers that he broke up with Tara. Craig Robinson's character remembers that he fucked a groupie and has to go on stage. And then they all say, "Lou, you got beaten the shit out of."
Broke up with Jenny.
Oh, was it Jenny? Tara is the groupie. So yeah, that's where we are. And then they basically decide, okay, we need to go do the same things again. And then they go off. So anyway, so they decide to leave the room and then go separate ways to, try and do things the same. But in trying to do things the same, all three of them sort of realise, oh, actually, maybe we should do things a bit differently. It's like Adam being with Jenny, he goes on these dates, goes to the Poison concert and things like, oh, do you know what? I actually think I love this person. I think I want to stay with her. Nick goes away and cries while he has sex with a groupie, which is quite a funny scene. As to the tit count, Alex.
The tit count is in. That's 2 more tits or 1 more set.
Well,
Whatever
I've
you want,
realised
whatever
that I
you
need to go back and watch the film because I've missed all the tits up until that point where there's obvious tits.
Tits.
But then Lou, the guy who probably has the most to change, decides, no, I should get beaten up again, and goes through it for Jacob and everything. But then five minutes later has the chance for sex and goes, "Fuck it, I'm changing it, let's go." Brings Jacob along with him, and then somehow finds a woman who only has threesomes. Which is a really funny bit of the back shot of Rob Corddry completely naked and Jacob with his pants down, just going, "Yeah, we're gonna do this, aren't we?"
And when he grabs he grabs Jacob's
Exactly.
cock because he's like, you don't want a hard on, but you don't want to be flaccid either.
Yeah, you don't want to insult the woman.
Yeah, you want a half chub.
like me. Look how I'm doing now.
It's like it's magnificent. Perfect.
This is what I mean. He's gone from wanting to kill him, actually, to wanting to buy him, to wanting to kill him, to now being like,
We're gonna Eiffel Tower.
yeah, we're gonna Eiffel Tower. Let me check how much chub you've got going on.
Touches his cock. Nice cock. Did you guys hear what the woman who wanted the threesome said as she walked away from them briefly?
Hi, Mum.
Hi, Mum.
No, I can talk now.
No, I could talk. I could talk now. It's something about hospital results are important. And look, when bad things are happening, life still goes on.
She's about to have a threesome, and she's like, "No, Mum, I need to know what the hospital said."
And yeah, you want to hear the rest of that conversation where her mum's like, "What are you doing now?" Nothing. I'm not doing it unless she's very open about it.
Because she only has threesomes. Only. She tells Rob Corddry, Lou, to get out.
Oh yeah, when it's just one of them.
This is one of them.
Jacob stormed off. This is around the time as well where Adam meets April.
Yes,
Sure.
meets Lizzie Kaplan.
Meets Lizzie Kaplan. Her voice is exactly the same as Alex is pointing at me, so I want to know if he says the same person as me.
Zoe Deschanel.
No, I would say
No?
Kristen Milioti in How I Met Your Mother, the wife of Ted Mosby.
Well, the cadence or just the voice?
The voice, the cadence, yeah, but just the voice is the same.
I
The
thought
same.
she
To the
was
point
a
where
Deschanel sister.
No.
No, I didn't get any Zoe Deschanel.
Really?
No,
Yeah, I can see that, to be fair.
it's a bit nasally.
Yeah.
And like in your throat kind of voice. And to be fair, they all three kind of have that. But I was like, is that Kristen Milioti? It's not Kristen Milioti.
I'm upset that you do not recognise Lizzie Kaplan as Janice from Mean Girls, because that's...
You're so winning the game today.
I wonder what the game is.
Absolutely winning the game today. Alex, I'll make it easy for you.
I've only seen Mean Girls like twice. I thought
Like, I think that was probably Lizzie Kaplan's in a lot of things, but yeah, her breakout role was probably Mean Girls.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
is
I remember who she is
brilliant.
now. She's like the
She's
gothy,
Janice. Yeah, she's Janice.
character.
Like I was saying, she's like this and this. She's Janice in Mean Girls.
Yeah, but not everyone knows necessarily Janice. She's like the early friend of Lindsay Lohan in Mean Girls, and she plays like the gothy character who the popular girls don't like.
Oh yeah, can vaguely remember her as the goth girl in Mean Girls. Yeah,
But yeah, you're right. That's where John Cusack meets Lizzie Capson's character. You know, he's basically having doubts about what he actually do, and then But this is where we sort of also, in these sort of interspersed scenes, where we start to get the running joke of how does Chris McGlover lose his arm? And the first one is the ice sculpturing with the chainsaw.
Oh yeah,
He falls over and you're like, oh my god, it's going to fall on his arm. It's going to fall on his arm.
but it's a joke that I just did not see coming, and that's why it's so enjoyable.
What, the running joke or just every time it happens?
So the first time it happens, you're like, oh, so this is how he loses his arm, and then it doesn't happen. You're like, oh, so this is the joke. And it's such a nice way to break up this movie.
Also, can we talk about how he is a bellhop still in modern day, and he was a bellhop then, but to be able to perform such craftsmanship on an ice sculpture with a chainsaw, not a little chisel and hammer and knife, it's intricate little designs with a chainsaw, and then do flips. This man is magic with the chainsaw.
Maybe everyone in the local area has got a guy like him at their hotel that just carves up ice sculptures, so maybe it's not that impressive.
No, but it's not.
Can you carve up ice sculptures, Alex?
Not with a chainsaw, but with a regular saw. I'll give it a go.
Carving an ice sculpture with
SpongeBob
is
SquarePants.
impressive anyway, but with a chainsaw, the line work incredible.
The line work.
So after this, they all meet up again, and they've come to a realization where all of them just go, "Fuck it, we're changing things now. Let's go do it our way." And then Rob Corddry and Craig Robinson's character go away, and then that's when they start betting to like make some money on a game. And then the squirrel comes again. The squirrel's the thing that fucks up all their money, and he goes, "Right, you got to give your friend a blowjob now."
I love that Craig Robinson hates the idea of being pimped out.
I don't think many people want to be pimped out.
But yeah, this leads us on to one of my favourite jokes of where he pulls down Craig Robinson's shorts and just goes, "Wow, good for you." Craig Robinson just goes, "I know, man, I know." It's a great line.
There's like a couple of essential sexual act jokes with Nick in this film, which are subtly racist or fetishizing race. Earlier on when he's crying about cheating on his wife and she's just moaning, "I'll never go back."
Yeah,
I'll never go back. And then this as well, where it's like, it is again the second little minor racism jokes in these films it's so black.
It's so impossibly black.
Like, you just can't. Again, it's resetting my entire brain. I don't know if you guys have what 2010 was. I thought we were way more progressive in 2010. No, we were not. This is bad.
But I feel like at any point, Craig Robinson could have stopped the blowjob and been like, "Whoa, don't be racist, dude."
This is before, and then Craig Robinson just goes, no, just passes out.
Just fucking shouting no. Also, why are there so many people gathered around to watch this
And the bear
blowjob?
makes another appearance in that crowd.
Everyone's just stood there watching it. Like, it just... Maybe this is the idea of peep shows, and this is where they came from. They were like, oh my god, so many people would just watch a blowjob.
But also then it cuts scenes with like Adam like having that scene with Jenny again, and Jenny's, you know, and it turns out that even this whole time that Adam thought he broke up with Jenny, that Jenny was already thinking about breaking up with him anyway. Yeah. And it's how it frames history a bit differently, and he still gets fucking stabbed in the eye. I love how he tries to do things differently, it still ends up the same way.
And that's after he's just had a really like nice conversation with Lizzie Kaplan, April, who is very keen.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the only reason that they're kind of getting along is because she comes across quite mature, although keen, and he is technically an old man. Yeah, he is mature. He is an old man in a young body. And
that's a good point.
I don't think they would have like stayed together, well, like met and had interest in each other if he wasn't old man in a young person's body.
That is true. That is true.
Whereas, and then it kind of leads on to the whole thing of like, we don't see the young versions of their characters in the entire film. We see that they're always the old versions, however everyone sees them as the young versions. So it's kind of weird to watch like John Cusack with a young Lindsay Fonseca, and also Craig Robinson Nick with young who is it, Tara, I think.
Yeah.
Played by Jessica Pear. I did find it a bit creepy.
Yeah, because this is the weird thing. Because like going back to when they're in the car, he says we went out junior year. They said went out junior year, swapped virginities in junior year, and like in my head, like the way Americans think of like they refer to that both for high school and for college, and I sort of always assumed during the film it's like junior year of high school of college. Sorry, so they're like 19, 20, sort of that age. But really, later on in the film, they go back and say this is high school, 17. And they're like 16, 17, really, which
God,
does
this is horrendous.
Which does put an air of like, okay, this is a little bit weird. But I think Lizzie Kaplan's character is meant to be like a little bit older as well, because she's already a journalist, traveling with bands and things like that.
So she's grooming a 16-year-old.
Yeah, maybe. But I think that bit is framed a little bit differently. The same with Tara. She's like already a groupie and drinking and things like that. So it's, maybe some of these people are actually older than they actually say as well.
Yeah. I think you're not meant to think that hard about it.
No, you're definitely not.
You're not meant to think that hard about it. But the age difference comes into a very incredible scene because Nick is upset about cheating on his wife.
Yeah. Well, it comes out when it happens, which is great. Nick wakes up from passing out to see Lou's face all covered in what we think is cum. And he's like, oh my God, have I still got something on me? And then he lays finding it's soap. It's just a really good prank to play on your friend.
It's a fantastic prank and a fantastic joke, but it puts the other guy who's in the bathroom off washing his hands.
Yeah, I know.
Because he thinks it's
like
jizzy soap.
No, I think it's more the fact that it's 1986. They've mentioned there's the AIDS crisis, and I think homophobia is quite...
Yes, oh my God,
You've gone so deep into that. I just thought the guy was like, I don't want to wash my hands in this environment.
Oh, probably, I think it's 1986. They're in a public bathroom and guys seemingly covered in cum. I think it's not 1986. I don't consider myself homophobic, but I think I would leave the room if I thought someone just come on someone's face in public. Male woman, regardless of the situation.
I am British. I would stand there, strong upper lip, stiff upper lip. And just,
Strong upper lip. Is that your technique?
And just wash my hands and be like, I'm not going to look at it. If I don't look at it, it's not there.
What you do, you go stand at the furthest urinal away.
Yeah.
Go to the furthest sink
He's not
away.
even using the urinal. He's gone in there just to wash his hands.
Yeah, and then it comes to like Lou and Nick. They're at the bar now, and Lou's coming up with ideas like, this is what we could do in the future. Like we could make Twitter, we could make this, we could do this. You know, Zac Efron, he's not been invented yet, which was quite a funny line.
There's a couple of celebrity mentions like that. So like we could prevent Miley Cyrus.
Yeah. Prevent her for what? Just prevent her.
And I think you can really age the film like where it sits with these references.
But Miley Cyrus isn't even hated by the like Wrecking Ball. Well, yeah, Wrecking Ball was like the worst time.
The worst time of Miley Cyrus.
I guess so. It was still pretty good from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
But,
it's brilliant.
like,
But it's
at
just
this point,
people that don't
she's
like
still
nudity.
Hannah Montana. Like, why are these guys hating Hannah
I
Montana?
don't think she was Miley Cyrus in 2010.
No, I mean, she was always Miley Cyrus. That is who she is.
Yeah.
She wasn't Hannah Montana anymore.
Was she not?
So Wrecking Ball came out in 2013. Good point. What did Miley Cyrus do to piss everyone off in 2010?
Maybe he just hates Billy Ray. He's like, we can just stop it.
We could do a whole podcast around the like drama of the Cyrus family if we really wanted to. They are a mess.
We're not doing that.
They're a mess.
Anyway, moving on. But yeah, this all comes back to like, you know, Lou keeps saying to both of them, like, they better be there for when, you know, Blaine beats them up again.
Yeah.
Like, they like, you know, you bring your friends and they never come, but Lou's like, we need to change this. You need to be here for me. And they still fuck it up. Like, Nick still goes, plays his gig, and then just plays Let's Get It Started from the 2000s and kills. But there's a weird thing in that. There's a weird line where he does it. There's a weird line in that where he goes, guys, just like we practiced, when did you practice playing a song from the future? Because you agreed earlier on that you were going to do things the same. So when did you agree to play a song from the 2000s?
This is copy and paste Back to the Future.
It is.
Yes. You haven't heard this one yet, but your kids are going to love it.
No, but to be fair, they love it in this film because it is a great song.
It's such a weird song to pick.
Really?
It was a good
What song would you pick?
I don't know, but it was a good song. I don't know, where are we? 1986.
That was prime Black Eyed
What?
Peas. Like prime Black Eyed Peas.
1986?
1986.
Yeah, but
You mean the 2010?
Oh, confused. No, like that. No, that song was that. I don't even know when that song came out. Before 2010.
But he's
that
got the
was
whole of the
prime.
90s to choose from. The whole, like, there
Yeah,
are
he's-
some
yeah, he's gonna-
absolute...
He's going to go up there and play Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Probably, yeah, man. Why not? He's got a piano. Like, I don't know what he could do with that. Why'd it have to be that one? He had the whole of the 90s, the whole of the 2000s to choose from. Even the back end of the 80s he's got to choose from. He can do some of Michael Jackson's songs that Michael Jackson hasn't even released yet.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. He could do some of Michael Jackson's songs that he's not released yet.
But I left my phone on auto Shazam through the entire film, and it is quite an eclectic mix of songs. And at the start of the film, I was like, are we just going to do movies with kind of old 90s-ish rock kind of music, like in Wild Hogs, which we can totally do. But then it's quite diverse. You've got Public Enemy, David Bowie, Salt and Pepper. You can actually listen to the Craig Robinson version of Let's Get It Started and Jesse's Girl on Spotify.
Actually,
Yeah, and I very
That's
much
good.
enjoyed the Let's Get It Started version from Craig Robinson.
But this film is a 6.1 on IMDb, and 6 of that is Craig Robinson singing these songs, hands down.
Hands down, excellent performer.
he's a really good actor. I love him. Like, you know, Craig Robinson in films like This Is the End is brilliant, where he's just shouting, "Take your panties off!"
Doug Judy in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Doug Judy in Brooklyn Nine-Nine is
Pontiac
fantastic.
Bandit.
It's fantastic.
And Daryl in The Office.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't say yes, Charlie. You've seen
I've
everything,
never
but
watched
not
The
The US
Office.
Office. You need to watch The US Office.
Okay.
Neither have I.
While we're on the performance quickly, like there is a really funny line of what dating was like in the 80s. And where Clark Duke just like has a girl and a girl's like, how do I talk to you? Like, do you have email? Do you have whatever? And then she just goes, "You come find me." Seems like a lot of work.
Exhausting.
Just make it very clear that he's like, oh, okay, when she walks away,
I'll never see you
I
again.
don't think I can find you again.
I thought everyone just had pages. Not just paging
Oh,
everyone.
pages.
I'm
Yeah.
guessing no, but
No. But I guess as close as we get to it is like when you're at a festival and your friend's like, "I'll just be down there, come find me." And I'm like, oh, fuck. I cannot text you.
your
I'm
4G's
stuck.
gone.
Yeah. I'll never see you again
Never see you ever
until
again.
tonight. And it's very similar to those two.
But how do people just find each other?
They just find each
How?
other.
You just-
But Lizzie
how?
Kaplan says at the end of the film when she goes away and goes, "Well, you know, hopefully the universe will bring us back together."
The bit where he fucking drops her off on the coach. He can't say to her, in 25 years, can you come back here? Or even like give her like a letter to be like,
No, but-
open this in 2010.
No,
He can't do anything. Like, he's just like, this has been great. Bye.
But they don't cease to exist.
I know they don't. That's what I mean. Why can't he just tell her, come back here in like,
a year.
no, in like 20 years?
But why 20 years?
Because that's when they leave in the fucking hot tub.
Yeah, but it's already... No, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but they sort of iron out that bit at the end.
They don't disappear.
I know they don't disappear.
Their young selves live on their life.
This is another Irish thing. Yeah.
We'll come back onto that. We'll come back onto that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking
We'll come back onto that. No, we'll come back onto that.
We're in the last act, and this film is going at 100 miles an hour, and somehow it hits 200 in the last bit. It is electric. During the performance of "Let's Get It Started" by the Black Eyed Peas,
Craig Robinson.
the boys miss midnight. Lou had previously had a fight with Blaine, the Winter Soldier, and he was being good. He was making sure that history was going to stay the same, relatively, let's say. And he met them at midnight, but he wanted the friends to be there so they could at least win this fight. They haven't shown up again, and now not only has he not shown up, he's been beaten up. And
Again, his shoe has been beaten off of him somehow.
his shoe has been beaten off.
I
of him.
love that that's referenced in the movie.
Yeah. It's like, Blaine beat your shoe off. I don't know how that's possible.
And they've stolen the MacGuffin. They've stolen his backpack. They've stolen the Chernobyl.
The Chernobyl.
The way to get home.
But it's really good. But it's really good in this way. Like, basically, Adam and Nick realize, oh fuck, we've missed it again somehow.
Yeah.
And then they're like, right, he's definitely gone to the same place. And they show up on the roof.
I realize they probably missed it the same way.
Yeah,
pretty much.
probably, yeah.
In the past.
And yeah, it's like this is like the emotional moment of the film. It's like, why the fuck are you guys not there for me? Like, you always ignore me, and it's like, you know, it's actually quite an emotional scene to watch, isn't it?
Very heartfelt.
Yeah.
But it begs the question: if he went up to the roof last time,
Mm.
and the roof must have ended quite well
Because they didn't die.
for him to go back to the roof.
What do you think? What do you think? This same thing happened 20 years ago.
No, the opposite. I think that the roof situation was diffused correctly. Everyone remained safe, and they left.
Well, I think, yeah, well, no, I think that's probably right. So something they get off the roof safely originally in the past, clearly.
And it's all Jacob's fault that they almost die then.
But I think did you go there? He went there again. Where would he go? Went to the roof.
Yeah.
They knew that happened in the past, but then they're able to use the moment at the roof to make personal growth as their current selves. So he admits.
Well, I would actually intend this is not where they make personal growth. This is where they're like, fuck it. Like, I'm going to hate you guys when we get back to the future.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to be friends anymore because, you know, they don't agree that, you know, your bullshit is my bullshit. And there's just both of us left in the shit, basically, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But Clark Duke's like, fuck it. I can't be bothered. I just want to get this Schnobly and I want to go home.
There's a line in it as well. It's like, like your shit's my shit, and like, we're just two people in shit, and you stick for your friends through thick and thin. And those are good things to live by, and I think that's true. But ultimately, friendships fall apart from time to time. If someone's being a problem for a long time and affecting you, you don't have to stay friends with them through thick and thin. Nor family, no one. You don't have to.
James, how many friends and family do you have?
Family is very small because of a problematic family. But I'd like to think I've got a good group of friends. Right, guys?
Not in this room.
I don't know why he's looking at us.
But no, it's really funny. And then they almost die, which is comes to a really good bit where it's like, and they all get saved by Crispin Glover's character.
The bellhop comes to the rescue, and in the moment where he's about to die, he's questioning whether this is the day the arm comes off. I don't know how you'd sever your arm if you grabbed onto a roof, but he is willing to find out. And it's
he is like, if it's now, just let it happen now.
As he's sliding to his death, he's just turning around going, is it now? Is it now? It's not now.
Lou's obsession with it was just brilliant. Like earlier in the movie, like if that guy doesn't lose his arm, I'm going to take it from him.
But here's the question: like, why are they all like adamant that it's that night that he loses his arm? They don't remember him losing his arm 20 years ago that night, do they? Like, why are they so adamant that it's that night that he's going to lose his arm?
In my mind, like it seems like that day is when all the near arm loss related incidents happen. But in my mind, I like to think for his entire life, he's nearly lost that same arm in weird accidents from birth.
Yeah.
Like.
He's just been putting his hand in places.
Yeah, he's born, and I don't know, rogue surgery utensil nearly cuts his arm off. Like from then up until the moment he actually loses it, every day he's had to watch out for this.
But the other thing is, that man pulls up 4 grown men essentially off of a roof. Like, that is some serious strength.
I told
it's only 3, isn't it? Because isn't
No, Clark Duke's there as well.
yeah, but he's hanging on to
he's hanging onto like a
little
chimney.
chimney
Yeah, but he
thing.
still pulls them up. Like,
Either way, he's
at
pulling
some
3
point,
grown men.
he is not holding onto that chimney, isn't he? So
Well, yeah, he could pull the 3 up and then be like, I'll just do one more for the road.
As I said earlier, to be that good with a chainsaw and do
You've got to have some serious strength, yeah.
If he's doing fine ice work with a heavy chainsaw, he's strong. We saw it early on. He launched the suitcases with one arm.
Nice work.
Fine ice work.
But yeah, so then they decide, right, fuck it, we need to go to the house. Like, this guy, before he loses his arm, is an amazing person. Like, he saves them from being, and then he decides to give them a lift somewhere. And waits. Because they get out of the van, they get out of the truck, and he goes, oh yeah, can you just turn it around and wait for us, please?
Maybe that's why he's so angry in the future, because they've forgotten him.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh
that's a great shout.
And they've forgotten how they saw a guy lose his arm.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
His arm, did nothing.
And then he still asked for a tip. The ski, what is it? The ski patrol house or what? Chalet, yeah,
Chalet.
Sure. And then they're like, fuck it, we need to find the Chernobyl. So they all split up again. And then going back to talking about age, the weird bit where Craig Robinson phones his 9-year-old wife.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's so funny. So funny.
It's a bit that comes out of absolutely nowhere as well.
And the best bit of this is when Clark Duke takes the phone back and he goes, sorry, wrong number. But you've been a bad girl, you heard it.
You really hurt him. It's so polite. He's like, you really hurt him.
Where her dad comes on the phone, he's like, fuck you, Steve, this isn't about you.
I don't know my name.
It's a really good bit. But then another good bit is when they can't find the Ginobili, and then Sebastian's dad is just like stood there going like, is this what you want? Like putting this soda can in their face.
The way he thrusts that soda can is so annoying.
It's so annoying.
But the running bit is like, he thinks they're commies anyway,
Yeah.
and he finds that they really are commies from Russia.
Yeah, but the great is like there's a speech when Lou gets punched in the face again, and he's on the floor, and John Cusack is giving him that whole speech. Is fantastic. It's really good. I've said fantastic a lot in this one. But yeah, it's like, maybe, but you're better than him. Maybe by not a lot, but a little. And he goes, Enrique and fucking Glacius. You love that song. My heritage just still gets beaten the shit out of.
Then they win the fight finally.
Just.
Is that
Just-
before or after we've had the lovely big reveal of?
Oh yeah, we've brushed past that. Yeah.
So
That's after, isn't it?
No, it's before.
in this,
It is before,
I think it's
yeah.
fair enough that we got mixed up, because in this chaos, as I said, things go from 100 miles an hour of the entire film to 200 miles an hour. It is sped up entirely. So earlier in the film, there has been a little hint of Kelly, which is Jacob's mum, who Jacob sees take drugs and talk about riding poles, i.e. cock.
Waxing poles.
Waxing poles. She wants to wax poles. And he's like, yeah, that's just a job, right? And it's not just a job, Jacob. Your mum's a bit of a slut, which is fine, live your life. Then it's been hinted he's trying to flirt. The classic send a drink down the bar, smashing shot glass after shot glass while she's just staring at him.
I know this is a movie, but they seem to smash really easy. It made me think, I wonder how easy it is to smash a shot glass.
I thought you meant smash this and have sex.
No, maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do that for a TikTok.
I think so. I would just like to try.
Like, buy some cheap shot glasses and see how easy they are to break.
Yeah.
Let's
But
recreate that.
that whole bit when they run into the room and Lou is having sex with Kelly, and then Jacob jumps at him.
Lou is having sex with Kelly.
Yeah.
Lou is Jacob's dad.
No, but but Jacob flies at him, makes them stop to have sex, and then he disappears. And then the moment of realization of all three of them just going, I get it. And then John Cusack's face is, you have to finish what you started.
John Cusack takes it really well.
He does. But
you say
there's no
that.
other way he can take it. And then the bit
He
where
really
they
loves
start
his
having-
nephew.
But they start having sex again, and Lou just goes, "Shut up! We got a baby to make now." At that point, does Kelly not go? No, what? What are you on about?
No, we don't.
It's like outside the room. For some reason, they've stayed there listening.
Yeah,
I was
I
trying
know,
to
which
find
is
out-
weird.
And it was like, I'm having sex with Adam's sister. I'm having sex with Adam's sister. I'm gonna come in Adam's sister. Oh Jesus Christ! It's so bad. I would just end myself.
No, but the bit where he goes, dropping loads, tiny little Jacobs.
He knows the sperm that won.
But then he comes back to life, and then probably another great line from the film is, and he jumps on Lou, and he's gonna kill him. And he goes, "I'm gonna tell everyone in prison how I travelled back in time and killed my own father."
But the worst thing about that is that Nick Robinson is also not Nick Robinson.
Nick is the character.
Craig Robinson is sat outside, also with his head in his hands. He's got nothing to be disgusted about. He can just sit there, and it's like listening to the radio to him. He can just sit there and just listen to this happen.
Yeah, so you
Tiny little
listen to the
Jacobs.
radio. So if Chandler was having sex with your friend's sister in a room, you would sit there and listen and be absolutely okay with it?
Well, if I have to sit outside, I might as well listen in. I'm not doing anything else. There's also no phones then either, and I think Telly is like off by this point.
But anyway, they get the Ginobili, bringing us back round. They get the Ginobili, and then they
your
hero, baby.
That's enough. Demonetized.
Copyright.
Demonetized on our one viewer.
They get the Ginobili, and then they head back, and they're like, and this is it. This is where the running joke ends, where they finally get his arm off. Like they're out the truck, and they're like saying thank you and everything, and then One more joke of him almost getting his arm
That's
chopped off.
fantastic.
One more bait and switch.
One more bait and switch is really
one
good.
for the road.
And then his arm gets chopped off. And it's really good.
But none of them offer to help.
No, none of them
They all
fuck off.
stand there and go, yeah, well done, great.
It's like, why are you laughing?
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
But they don't do anything. They fuck off and they're like, right, we need to get back to the future.
But in the future, he remembers them fondly.
Yeah.
He's not like, you're the four guys that were there when my arm was chopped off and did nothing. You stood there and laughed and pointed.
Winter Soldier and his crew
Help.
saved
Yeah,
the arm.
we found out they helped.
And we always want to talk about the themes of the film here. You know, it's a little bit serious, but what I learned was always put a lost limb on ice. Always. And if they're surrounded by snow,
You're great.
you should save his arm.
Yeah. But then then they get to the hot tub and they're like, right, we're going back to the future. And Craig Robinson's in it and goes, I can see the 90s.
I did think it was good. Like at that point, I thought it was just gonna be like a portal, like jump in and he's gone. And then he comes out of the water. I'm like, okay, cool. They got to do the whole shtick again.
It's like, John Cusack goes to Jacob and goes, why are you getting naked? I don't know, it feels right.
But then doesn't even get naked.
He doesn't get fully naked as well, yeah.
The personal growth of that, though.
And then here's the personal growth bit where like Lou's like, I had a good day. I finally beat that guy. I want to do better. And then John Cusack's like, right, I'm actually your friend. I'm going to stay with you. That's the actual bit of personal growth, isn't it? Where they're like, do you know what? Yes, you know, your bullshit is my bullshit. I want to help you. I love you. Let's stay
But
together.
really, it's just a chance for him to have a better life as well. You know?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, like always exploit the
But
knowledge for the future.
I love how Lou has come so round to like being Jacob's dad. Like
Yeah.
Jacob goes, I fucking hate you, and Lou goes, oh, they say the damnedest things, don't they? Like he really wants to be that kid's father.
Yeah.
And then they go back to the future. What?
Other film name drop.
I've said
We
back
got
to the
back
future
to
like
the-
4 times in the past minute. I love the bit where they're out the pool in the morning and Adam picks up the can of Chobi and just goes, fuck's sake, and just throws it behind him.
Now, I want to move over to Alex here because he's given us an inkling that this is where the film is. This
This is where time travel
This
logic
is where
does
his
not work.
burning fire is in Alex.
There are so many WTF moments.
He sent us his last few notes. It's just what the fuck.
There's so much. It's like, right, they've appeared now. Lou isn't there to meet them. That annoys me. But he does have a DVD player set up in the room by the concierge who lost an arm last time he saw them. We imagine.
We've hinted the concierge now, or the bellhop has both his arms.
He has both his arms, which he didn't at the start of the film.
Which is fine because they put it on ice.
They put it on ice. They saved his arm. They're chuffed about it. But surely they would have noticed in that old timeline when they arrived at the hotel that he's got both arms. He would have already addressed this. He would have been like, by the way, I've got both arms. They would have done that. Cool. They also just forget. I don't understand how they aren't realizing that this is their life now.
Yeah, no, the time travel logic at this point does not work, right? Because we find out that there's Lou has gone back and just
You can't say it doesn't work depending on what their time travel system is.
One sec. So Loogle has been invented instead of Google.
That's really
which
nice.
is a great joke when he goes, I've printed you off some Loogle maps, and he goes, so hang on, so if you want to find like a porno or a restaurant review, you use Loogle? And I was like, yes, obviously everyone's first use of Google is.
Which they will have been using their whole lives, so they should know it's Lou.
It's their consciousness. It's not them. It's the consciousness of their old times has gone back into their new selves. But it also doesn't make sense is why would they have been in that ski lodge in the first place on that weekend if they didn't need to go there because Lou had a shit life?
True story.
Why? See? Why? Why would they be in that room, have gone back to that hot tub, with the room reserved, no one's at that room, with a DVD player ready?
But to be fair, I think that's a bit too deep thinking. Is
it's not too deep thinking.
It looks
the time travel
like
logic does not work.
the resort is fine. They could have gone.
No, they have no reason. They have no reason to go on a friends trip, especially without Lou, considering when they come back to have dinner and they're all like, we're the best friends
I
now.
don't think that ruins time travel logic. I just
It
think
does.
they went there.
It does.
All you can say is they decided to go there and Luke didn't make it. And it's Jacob's uncle, so it's family thing. Maybe he was there for a few days. We don't know.
Something that
He
totally
might have been
ruins
there
it.
to put the DVD thing there.
But then why wouldn't you
He's
just
like-
stay there and met him there?
Because it's Lou. Did you see him be a sane human at all through the entire movie?
This is the worst thing. Lou invented Google, and the boat he buys is a decent boat, but until you realise he invented Lugal.
Because like, he can afford 10 times bigger.
He can afford a
But here's
huge
the other
yacht.
thing.
And he
Here's the
joined-
other thing about the yacht, right? Which I haven't actually mentioned. Why is his nickname the Violator?
Oh yeah, why is
I
his
haven't mentioned
nickname
that
the
at all.
Violator?
Why is his nickname the Violator? It's so wrong.
Is
on
this
so
why
many
George
levels.
McFly keeps screaming, "Are you going to rape me?" Is that why?
Also, like, he's basically a Stifler character in this film. He's the Stifler. So it kind of like, it just fit. I didn't even bat an eyelid at it. I was like, the shoe fits. He's clearly a violator. He did touch his son's dick.
Unbeknownst to him at the
Unbeknownst to
time.
him.
I love as well that his idea of being rich is having long, luscious blonde hair.
Oh, the hair transplant he's got is like at least 10 years too early
Like
in 2010.
He wouldn't even Bezos it and just stay bald. He wants the hair.
And it's
Again.
great. Or maybe that's just because he's happy and not had the stress and he's kept the hair.
Oh, possibly, yeah.
Yeah,
Possibly.
Because he did join the Motley Crew.
All right.
The Motley
Here's
Lou.
another thing. Here's another thing, right?
So I
This
wonder if
pissed
you're going
me
to say
off.
the same point as me.
Motley Crue was a band in 1981.
Yeah.
Home Sweet Home, the song we see him sing, got released in 1985. Basically, what we're saying is, how did he go and join a band that already fucking existed?
So,
Like, what the fuck is that about?
someone I grew up with, their dad was the original drummer in The Who. People move out of bands. The
Yeah.
Black Eyed Peas had different singers.
True.
Pushed him out.
But
he did something. So this
The
is
song was already released.
So they
They made a music video.
So what was
He did a cover and got more money than the band.
So my main problem with it was like his memory is unbelievable. 'Cause he needed not only for the internet to be created, but he needed to make sure Google wasn't created or get to the point where he can be around the Google creators to help create it.
Just the idea, man,
The
basically.
idea man, or push it through first. He had to know where and who they were, or he had to find some people that happened to be early computer programmers and make it himself and
I
like
reckon
describe it.
that's the route he's gone
probably
down.
it. But also joining the Motley Crue, he needs to somehow get an in with, as you say, an already famous band.
Yeah.
Have the personality, the drive, and the knowledge to find them and befriend them, and somehow boot out the old singer and become the new singer because they already existed. And he loved
Exactly.
the Motley. Also, but Lugal and the Motley Lou.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
It is very good.
Absolutely brilliant.
But also, like, on this...
I was
on
like,
this
Lou's a genius.
so,
Absolute genius.
Do you want to be Lou now?
He's a genius.
Do you want to be Lou?
The fact that he remembered all that and managed to plan it and make it work. And also, right, we see that everyone else's lives are a bit better in some way. That's how you affect your friends. Adam is with April. I'll get onto why there's some issues with that in a second. But also, Nick runs a music studio or a music label. And is with his wife who doesn't cheat on him because of an unfortunate call when she was 8 years old from a crazy person. Which she mentioned. You know that call when I was 8 traumatized me and gave me PTSD?
the exposition in this movie is so bad. Like, they're just having a normal conversation and she's like, remember that call I had when I was 9? Like, no, fuck up.
I would never do that to you. He did prompt her to bring it up, to be fair.
Yeah.
It was a prompt to bring it up because she would say, otherwise it's like, she's just going, no, I wouldn't cheat on you. Where he's like, yes, you would.
Yeah.
So she's had to go, no, remember when I was deeply, deeply traumatized by a phone call
As a 9-year-old.
when I was a 9-year-old by a grown man calling me a bitch and said I cheated on him.
Who
And
now I think about
and you
it.
heard him really bad.
Yeah, and you heard him really bad. And your dad got insulted. Like, she kind of had to bring it up to prove it to him. Because otherwise she's like, you're the same person, you're going to cheat on me again. So whatever Lou has done, he's also managed to make their lives better.
Yeah, but I think, yeah, sure. Yeah.
And I quite like, but problem with the April thing is, I mentioned earlier in the podcast that April and seemed a bit more mature, very keen on Adam, probably because he came across as a bit more mature. Also, he was talking like a crazy person when you actually say he was talking. We know the context. She has no idea about the context. Like, he's just talking really like cool and theoretical about time travel and life and this, that, and the other and whatever. So when he's gone back, his older self is still not occupying his young body. So in theory, the personality of 16, 17, 18-year-old Adam and all of them is back. Lou's there to guide them, essentially. But like, now he doesn't remember any of his life with this woman, and that's going to cause some slip ups.
Yeah,
At
agreed.
all. Unless,
agreed.
Unless slowly that feeds into their brain, because like they did see their life when they did see the history when they were in the tub. But at the moment, all we know is he knows nothing about their history. Does Nick know how to run a music company?
No, he just knows how to remember old songs and steal them.
Yeah. Another thing on the memory. These guys' memory is unbelievable. They're like, we're going to do the day exactly the same. The butterfly effect is like, you breathe wrong and you've caused like a tsunami across
That's what
the
I mean.
world.
The time travel logic does not work in this film. Like, I love this film to bits, and if we overanalyze it, there's some weird things and the logic doesn't work, but it doesn't work.
How does Lou know that they've just arrived back?
Yeah. How does Lou?
It's the same
Why
day
are
they
they in that
left.
room? Again, why are they in that room?
Why
it's the same day
isn't
they
he there to greet them and be like, by the way, guys, huge changes since you've been away.
But these aren't.
You're now with April, so grow up. You've now got a music company. Your wife didn't cheat on you. Don't mention the phone
No,
call.
but I
you
don't
beat-
argue
you
that sort
fucking
of.
weirdo.
This isn't a time travel problem. That's just in character for Lou being he's a genius
dick.
in what he does. But in the film, he's an idiot and a dick who wants to play jokes on his friends and be the violator. Like, him not being there is totally in character. Him leaving a DVD and look at me, I'm on a yacht, I'm rich and I have hair, and then is hilarious.
It is a really good end
It's
to the film,
funny.
to be fair.
Like, that's not a time travel problem. They come back on the same day. We don't have to think too hard about why they went there again. They might, for all we know, because it was good and somehow the town still looks like it's not derelict like it was before, they might go there all the time. So they could easily have been on holiday. Lou might not have made it, or Lou might have only been able to do like 3 days. Or he's like, I'm going to come with you for a day.
No.
I've got a holiday. Like,
I completely disagree with you.
This movie's bullshit. I will not have you taint this bullshittery.
What the fuck? But anyway, like that is the film. After rewatching it again for this podcast, I still love the film. Like, as much as like we've spent an hour putting holes in it, like it's still a really funny film.
I enjoyed it.
And I enjoy it for about 40
I've
minutes.
just filled your holes. It's fine. Dick joke. So the film is quite. Look, it's not some serious points, but it touches on. It touches on some issues: suicide, keeping your friends with you, and how people can help you through your troubled times as well. So yeah, it's a funny film, and there's some stupid things we can take from it, but like there's a serious theme there, and like it's always the jokey guy hinting through it that actually might be the one that's going through a tough time. And Lou jokes quite a lot about suicide, and that's leading you to think he actually did try. And that is ultimately really sad.
But he outright admits it, like when they're like about to travel back. And I think, again, as I said before, it's like that aim of like they've actually grown through this experience. Like Lou's like come to terms with how unhappy he was with his life back in the present day. Adam has come to terms with, he can be a bit less selfish or a bit less absorbed, and help his friends out when they need it. Craig Robinson realizes he can try and do things differently and, be with his wife, be a better partner, or like, do things differently to help him in his relationship.
Jacob was there.
Yeah, the only one who hasn't really changed is Jacob, to be fair. He's a nerd at the beginning and he's a nerd at the end.
So Jacob, it seems like he doesn't go through any growth, if anything. He has to live in a time without much technology, which he clearly doesn't want to move. So he was out and about. Good for him. But he's a nerd who can snowboard like a freaking Olympian. So he's not that nerdy. And hey, that alludes to he's been on ski holidays. But at the start of the film, they're like, he's not been there before. Where is this place? But apparently
Maybe
he's
they've just been
snowboarding
to a different resort.
ski resort.
Yeah.
Or he loves the dry slopes. He goes on Second Life and then dry slopes.
The only thing that Jacob's changed is he's changed from being, probably, let's say, lower to middle class upbringing with a single parent to he's now stonkingly rich.
Stonk.
He is stonkingly rich.
And now he has both his parents.
His mum.
Jacob's one out of this, let's be honest.
He does know his dad is Lou.
Yeah,
And
which
his
is a bad
and
thing.
his mum like to wax
Slut.
poles and do loads of drugs, and still seemed like she liked a little bit of a party at the end. She's still bubbly.
He still likes to drink. Yes, I believe there's still alcohol and scotch.
So he's come off well, but he knows a lot of things and he's seen a lot of things, and he's going to work through it with money.
There's so much bullshit. There's piles of bullshit. That's all for this week. We've bathed in time and worked like a machine. A hot tub time machine. Follow us at Pratfalling Pod for updates. It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
So that was 14 months ago, and we have tubbed in the hot of the time in the time tub. The time tub has been timed. We've timed to the hotness. That's the end. I've still got it right.
That was just about as good as the line you came up with 14 months ago.
Yes, we've tub timed in the hot time. And make sure that you have hot time in the tub time. Join us next week for the final episode from the Vault Trilogy. It'll be The Hangover. I'm very excited for The Hangover, mainly because I haven't listened to it again for 14 months.
No, to be fair, I think this one's a little bit less time ago. So I think we recorded it at the beginning of June. I think it was at the beginning of June, possibly.
Oh, lovely. A 1 year anniversary treat for The Hangover is that you get to hear it. Well, all that's left to say is it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from Chandler.
Goodbye.
And it could be goodbye from James. He may be being strung up by locals in a tree right now. We'll find out next week. Tune in next week to see if James lives or dies in East Asia. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Don't forget to rate, review, and share the podcast. It really helps us grow. Follow us on all our socials, plus our individual Letterboxd accounts. The links can be found in the description at www.hopwithtwopies.bio/3takes, or search for 3 Takes of Stupidity on most platforms. Please send us your film and series suggestions on our Hop page, or to 3takesofstupidity@gmail.com. Thank you, and hope to see you soon.